All right, so today we're going to be talking about the battle pass, and we're also going to be talking about its value and the light cones that drop from it, and which one is the most optimal, which one has the most value in regards to account wide usage. But before we get into that, make sure to leave a sub and a like on the video if you're going to be enjoying some more Honkai style role content. I also cover Genshin and Honkai Impact content as well, so make sure to stay a sub if you want to see those as well. But let's go ahead and start talking about the battle pass. Now the battle pass, of course, is going to be 1 through 50, giving a bunch of different resources, whether it be the legendary XP for your character, it being the legendary XP for the light cone, or it being a bunch of credits and other materials for artifacts or relics. There's a lot of stuff that you get from this. Another thing that I do love this butt ton for is the fuel, because the fuel is such a precious resource and it's going to help speed up the grind when it comes to grinding out relics, grinding out other material that you need to upgrade your characters, and this is really good. Now of course you do get some of these in the free tier, but in the free tier you get the blue versions of these items, and then later down the line you get the purple ones. Starting from 1 all the way to 50, you are definitely going to be getting a bunch of purple ones if you buy out the battle pass, and you do get some summons as well, which is really nice. But there's a couple of things we need to talk about. You have level 30, which is going to be your light cone selector, and then you also have level 40 where you're going to be getting the self-modeling resin, and this is going to help you craft an artifact. Now this is really good. I'll be making another video about this item separately because of course not a lot of people have the relic feature unlocked when it comes to getting 5-star versions, so you can't really make a relic that is worthwhile right now, so we're going to leave that for another video. And of course you're going to be getting a lot more resources, more fuel, and of course some what are these called, the tracks of destiny, to be able to boost your talent levels or traces levels up on your characters. So when it comes to the value of the battle pass, is it really worth it? Well, I think it's conditional. I think in the early game, especially right now as the game has just released, I do think this battle pass is 100% worth it, just because we're so scarce on resources when it comes to having to build as many characters as we have to. We have to build 2 teams for Forgotten Hall or Forgotten Memories. I forgot exactly what it's called. We have to have simulated universe teams. We have to be able to clear the story. We have to be able to clear the weekly bosses. And sometimes a lot of these characters don't align with every single mode. Some of them are good for some areas and some of them are good for other areas. So I do think with how the game is right now, and especially with starting an account, I do think the battle pass, if you have the money to spare, is 100% worth the investment when it comes to getting resources and getting all the things that you could possibly get, including the tracks of destiny, getting these selector blue material boxes, and also of course the light cones that we're going to be talking about right now. So of course once you hit level 30, you are going to be seeing a multitude of light cones, and this could be overwhelming for some when it comes to which ones are the best. And today we're going to be explaining every single one and what they do, and we're also going to be talking about which is the best one. Starting with the abundance light cone, we're going to be looking at its passive, which is increase the wearer's max HP by 16%, and when using a basic attack or skill, restore all allies HP by an amount equal to 2% of their max HP. So basically whenever you get an attack, you're going to be healing your allies by a certain percent, and it's a very small percent, although it is from their max HP. Only 2% isn't going to be helping a lot, and you got to remember that you have to wait a whole entire turn to proc this passive again. Will this help healers? Yes, but is it useful? Not really, just due to the fact that you're going to be using your healing abilities anyway, and with a lot of the better healers in the game, got Natasha's ult, you got Bailu's skill and her ult. There's a lot of ways that you can get healers, and especially we're going to get more healers in the future, of course. There's a lot of different characters that can just overall heal the team by themselves and don't really need help from another card. Other cards that are in the abundance path have a lot of max HP substats or max HP passives, and also maybe even give energy regeneration or even damage buffs to other characters. So this light cone is definitely not something you should be investing in. The next one is We Will Meet Again for the nihility path. This is going to be after the wearer uses a basic attack or skill, deal additional damage to a random enemy of 48% of the wearer's attack. So it's basically just random instances of damage to a random enemy whenever you do basic attack or skill. Another not so good light cone, in all honesty. This is not really useful. There's other things that you can run on the nihility path that debuff enemies, that help you get some more buffs for your character. So this is definitely not something you should be investing in either, because it doesn't really do a lot. It just does a small bit of damage for using a basic attack or skill, and you could possibly get more out of this with a regular skill than you can with this light cone. There's so many light cones in this path that have way better buffs and way better passives that you don't want to spend it on this for sure. I think the first two that I've already basically said don't ever have to be picked out. It just doesn't seem like anything really good for other characters, in all honesty. This is me. I know this one, in all honesty, is good only for one character, so I'm gonna just say that right now. It's only good for one situation, and with that situation, I'm gonna say that it's not 100% worth when it comes to having it on a bunch of different characters, or you're gonna be using it for general use. For the Path of Preservation, increase the wearer's defense by 16%, which is nice, but a lot of other Lycons have this passive. Increase the damage of the wearer when they use their ultimate by 60% of the wearer's defense. So somebody like March 7th, of course, is going to apply like crazy. And this effect can only apply to one time per enemy target. So like I said, very specific. This is a March 7th light cone. Now there could be other units in the future that can use this when they do damage with their defense when it comes to their ult. But for right now, this is a March 7th light cone. Very specific, very situational. There's other, I guess you could say, light cones that have a very similar passive where they're giving you 60% defense, and then the other half give you ultimate damage. March 7th, basically her ult doesn't do as much damage to be able to warrant needing to have it buffed, so you can, do more damage to enemies. Not really needed. Japar doesn't even do damage with his ult really, and other than that, there's just no reason to do this. It's not a really good light cone when it comes to using it. You can really only use March 7th. Giving her a bunch of defense is great, but this is not really worth it when it comes to using a battle pass selector for this. Return to Darkness is going to be for the hunt. Increase wearer's crit rate by 12%. After a crit hit happens, dispel one buff on the target enemy. Although this does debuff the enemy when it comes to them losing their buffs, which could be good in a lot of situations. There are many characters that are able to dispel buffs. One like Pella, she's able to do that as well. Based off her just natural kit, she's able to do this. So this isn't really a crazy light cone. And then, although the wearer getting 12% crit rate is massive, that is going to help you a lot when it comes to being able to build your character and making it a little bit easier. This is nice, but in all honesty, right now I don't think this is well worth, in all honesty, just because the dispelling a crit a buff when you get a crit hit, although it can be nice, there are characters that literally do this naturally, and it's not that big of a deal. For the most part, you could probably tank it with a shielder or a healer, and if you're dying to something that has the buff or something like that, well, that means either you just have to come back a little bit stronger in the future, or take it in a different route with a different team. Not really something that you have to pick a whole light cone for. The only thing that's good from this is the crit rate, but other than that, I don't think this is really crazy. Carve the Moon, Weave the Clouds. This is for the Path of Harmony. This is going to be at the start of battle. Whenever the wearer turns begins, apply one of these effects. One of the effects is all allies attack increased by 10%. The other is all allies crit damage increases by 12%. Or you can have all allies energy regeneration rate increases by 6%. And the applied effect can't be the same as the one before it, and the applied one will be gone if the wearer gets knocked down. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is probably going to be the one that you have to pick when it comes to using the battle pass, because the Path of Harmony is going to be the healers, the buffers in the game, and all of these effects that can happen every single time their turn starts, it's just absolutely amazing. Getting your attack increase is always good, that's more damage. Getting your crit damage increase is always good, that's more damage. And then also having energy regeneration rate is going to help allies get their ult back way quicker, way faster. For a lot of these characters in the game, having their ult up means for a lot of utility, either shields, heals, or a lot of damage. So yeah, this light cone is definitely the one you probably want to be looking for. In all honesty, I might even buy 5 copies of this for each battle pass before I even get the other ones, because I don't see any other one that could be better than that one. You have nowhere to run for destruction. Increase the wearer's attack by 24%, and whenever the wearer defeats an enemy, restore HP to 12% of their attack. This is very nice, but not necessary. You have healers and shielders for a reason on your team. This is not necessary at all. The plus 24% is nice, but still a waste of a light cone in all honesty when it comes to using it for a battle pass selector. And then for the today is another peaceful day, which is the Path of Erudition. After entering battle, increases the wearer's damage based on the max energy. Damage is increased by 0.20% per point of energy up to 160. This is very freaking situational. I don't think this is really needed for any character in regards to having them do a bunch of damage. I don't know anybody that's able to use this, in all honesty, when it comes to actually using this full passive optimally. It just doesn't really need to be used or needed. Maybe in the future we might get some crazy gimmicky type character, but other than that, not really something that you should be spending on. I do think that honestly, Carve the Moon and Weave the Clouds is definitely going to be the best actual light cone that you could possibly get when it comes to paying for the battle pass and selecting it. This overall gives a fat ton of buffs that you could possibly get. All of them are good. There's not one downside to any of the buffs that you could possibly get where it gets on field. This is just the overall great choice for the battle pass. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know if you're going to be buying the battle pass. If you already bought the battle pass, what like cone you got. If you got this like cone, let me know. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. See you on the next one, and peace.